Together we'll see who dies and survives, circled around a sacred fire, strumming along with our favorite lyre. Adventure called the quest awaits, your destiny's in the hands of the fates. But never fear, we're all friends here, we'll have your back when danger's near. Come with us through the pages as we unravel a tale for the ages into the Percy-Verse.
Hello and welcome to the Percy-Verse podcast. I'm Alisa.
And I'm Anna. Leap from your trusty Pegasus and take a dive, because today we're reading The Titan's Curse, Chapter 8, I Make a Dangerous Promise. In this chapter, Percy rescues the most important cow ever, Annabeth's hat comes in super handy, and Nico asks Percy for an impossible favor. Before we start today's episode, we have an exciting announcement. Today is our 50th episode of the Percy-Verse podcast! Woo! To celebrate, we are making a dangerous deal. We are having a sale on our Percy-Verse podcast t-shirts. From now through August 31st, you can get our logo t-shirts in orange with black font or black with gold font for 50% off. That's just $15 plus shipping. Go to Percy-Verse, all one word, .com, Percy-Verse.com to order your t-shirt today in sizes 5X through extra small.
Can't believe we're already at 50.
50. I cannot believe it. How did we do that?
I know. And we're in book 3.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. We're just flying through them.
We are, you know what? We are flying through them, which is a perfect transition to open this chapter because we start the chapter with Transicon Blackjack giving Percy a ride.
Yes.
We ended last chapter with Blackjack, just to remind us all, knocking furiously at the door and being like, the hippocampi need your help. And Percy's like, man, they're always asking me to help these creatures that get stranded on the shore or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So we're headed to the ocean, where we're headed to the beach area, and we're going to try to rescue a creature. So one detail that I'm wondering how much hyperbole, we have so much hyperbole from Percy that we're trying to figure out. It all has to do with like numbers.
Yeah.
But he specifically says that they're going 100 miles an hour. Do we think this is hyperbole? I just want your opinion here.
You know, I feel like it has to be in this instance, mostly because I don't think the distance from Percy's cabin, unless they're like further out into the Long Island Sound than I'm realizing they are.
Right.
But he's just saying a ride down the beach. Like it doesn't, I don't know.
We're skimming over the waves, a ride down the beach, but it doesn't say how far.
Yeah. So depending on how far, though it doesn't, given how quickly they return, I don't know, maybe Blackjack is unbelievably fast.
Yeah.
And we need like a Formula 1 for Pegasi.
We do. We're going to have more flying time with Blackjack in this book and in future, occurrences. So maybe we just like hold in our minds that we've been told this number and see if it kind of tracks in the future.
Yeah. I will say I'm so jealous. I want to take a ride on a Pegasus.
Absolutely.
Skimming over the ocean. That feels fun.
And then jump into icy cold water. You have that part too?
Yes, I do.
Like only if you're a child of Poseidon, though. Yes, which is what we learned. So Percy has become extremely comfortable doing tricks, essentially, into the water, which is sort of wild. And I actually appreciate that we take a moment where he's like, I've slowly gotten comfortable doing this over the last 2 years. Because it feels so like superhero-y for him to just sort of like tumble off the back of a Pegasus into the ICC.
Yes.
That it's nice for him to be like, yeah, it took a couple years for me to be comfortable in this.
I do, and again, this is one of the things that comes from reading these books so much more closely than ever have in my entire life.
Yeah.
But I really want to, like, I was stopping to consider that this is just the winter after the events of the Sea of Monsters.
Yeah.
And when we began the Sea of Monsters, the whole deal was that Percy had not been training for the whole year post the events of the Lightning Thief, and so it was, like, a little rough. So I did just have a moment where I was like, where have you been practicing these stunts, Percy?
Yeah.
Where you have become so familiar, like, maybe, like, during the fall semester, maybe, like, because it's very clearly a routine that him and Blackjack have, so maybe during the fall, Blackjack would kind of come and be like, Percy, we need your help, you know, like, I don't know.
Because apparently he's had many of these occurrences where he's helping creatures. The other thing is, like, there is summertime, like, there is time between the end of the Sea of Monsters and the start of the school year.
Yes. So it could have been, you know, within there, but it was just funny because I was like, Percy is kind of notorious for, like, not training well at camp.
Right. That's such a good point.
But he's just kind of like, oh yeah, I've done all this training.
Yeah. I've gotten yes, I can do parkour now. Yes, it is. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I take your point. So Percy has dived into this water, and he specifically is like, okay, we go 20, 30, 40 feet down, and we have another, I'm loving all the internal monologuing, honestly, in this part of the chapter, where he's like, you know, I don't know exactly how far down I could go. I haven't quite pushed my luck. Yeah. I know that at some point, like, bad things happen to your body if you're a regular diver, but I don't know if that would happen to me.
Yes. Specifically, the description of, like, regular humans would get crumpled like an aluminum can going past 200 feet.
Right. And then Grover would eat them.
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love these moments where Percy's wondering, like, how far can I go with this? What's the full extent that I can do? Also, in general, whenever anyone has powers, I think it's just really fun to explore, like,
the outer limits.
Oh, I discovered I can do this. How far can I take that? There's something else that I found that I can do. You know, like, it's just a fun thing to follow along with.
It's so much fun. And then specifically, he has this interesting way that he's talking about how he can see underwater, and because, you know, eyes, if you're longtime listeners of the pod will know that we're tracking all the magical eye stuff. He's saying that, like, if he were a regular human, he probably couldn't see anything in the water at night. Yeah. But he can see heat from living forms and the cold of the currents. And he says it's not like regular seeing, but he can tell where everything is. I find that so interesting.
I do too, and this particular description of it really made me think of how Daredevil's senses are portrayed in the MCU show, the Netflix show that then, you know, became folded into Disney Plus and the MCU shows. Like,
that's interesting.
It really reminded me of whenever we're put from Daredevil's perspective, where we kind of get a sense of, like, Daredevil is more aware of everything around him than like any of the seeing people in the show are, and this just description just really reminded me of that a lot.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, it also reminds me of like heat vision goggles or things like that, and so it's almost like, does Percy underwater have different seeing powers than a human would? Like, does he have access? Because you know how some animals can, like, see in different wavelengths than humans?
Right.
It's like, can Percy see infrared underwater?
Yeah. It does seem that, like, somehow, for the magic eyes of it all, his eyes are able to adjust in ways that, like, a mortal human's eyes or any other demigod who's not a child of Poseidon's eyes wouldn't be able to.
That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. I think it's really interesting. I'm, like, curious to hear more about
I agree.
This.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we get closer to the bottom, and this is where we meet the hippocampi again, which is always a lovely time, though we are going to slightly insult them in a little bit. And we remember that they have rainbow tails. So, like, we know that Rainbow is Tyson's bestie hippocampi, but, like, they all have rainbow tails. So it's like a little reminder, you know, that they're all there. And their manes are also white. So it's like the white manes and then the rainbow tails. They're just so pretty.
They're so pretty. They're
So
gorgeous.
pretty.
Gorgeous creatures.
They're beautiful creatures. And so then Percy has a rant, like a Grover-style rant about humans and about how, like, the way that humans fish and have nets and other things oftentimes gets creatures stuck, including magical, like, mythical creatures. And so he's truly ranting for, like, an entire paragraph. About, like,
he is.
They drown porpoises and dolphins, but they occasionally catch mythological animals. And it's just, yeah. And then he explains that sometimes these animals, like, die from it.
Yes.
And as we go through this, I feel like it's going to be very important. Like, this creature is so important. Like I said, the most important cow in the world we're about to meet. And I was, like, paying really close attention to the sequence and, like, how Bessie reacts to Percy.
Yeah.
Like, all of the ways in which, like, we get any hints at all that this creature is, like, more important than your average creature that would be caught in a net.
Yeah,
I think it's really, really interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
The one thing that I want to say before we move on to, like, all of that is, I particularly liked the inclusion, even though it's obviously very sad, of the fact that, like, the way that the mortal worlds can impact the mythological one.
Yes.
You know, in terms of, like, it I feel like it's another way of making it feel very real and, like, the mythological creatures, although they can't be seen by mortals, are just as real as the ones that mortals can see and engage with, you know? So I personally, even though it's, like, very, very sad and depressing, obviously, it feels like it further grounds it in reality, which I think is good given that the scene is hippocampi and then a cow serpent, you know,
a cow serpent,
which feel very unrealistic. But I think crazy. But I think that rant paragraph to me really served as, like, grounding this and no, there is a reality to all of this. So.
Yes, I agree. It also adds an element that's interesting of this creature being vulnerable in the first interaction with Percy, which is really interesting, even though he doesn't know the implications of that.
Yep.
And, you know, it makes sense that Percy would be most concerned about, like, he's learned a lot from Grover, and we've noted this about, like, environmentalism. And it makes sense that the area that would get him the most riled up would be, like, ocean, you know, environmentalism.
Yes.
So the biggest thing here that's really important is that we're caught up in this fishing boat and the net and everything, and that there's sort of like a tower of things that could fall on the creature. Like, that's really, it's not just like we're tangled. It's like we're tangled and we could be smushed. So that's like our stakes that we've established here. Yeah.
Which I need to know what you think would happen had Bessie been smooshed.
Well, yes. Let's get to that, because there's, like, a few different moments where Bessie is, like, in trouble. And I think partly it depends on if Percy had a hand at all, even accidentally, in the smooshing or the sword accidentally or what have you.
Right.
I think that would be, like, the biggest thing that would change.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Bessie just gets smooshed because because right now the hippocampi are, like, trying to, like, bite through the netting, but, like, their teeth aren't good for biting through netting, so it's not working very well. And Percy says that hippocampi are really strong, but they don't have hands, which that's just a fact. But then he says, and then in parentheses, really not all that smart. And I'm like, that's mean.
Yeah.
Like, they're constantly showing up when you need them and taking you exactly where you need to go. Like, you have to have some intelligence for that.
Yeah. And being able to, like, they were able to, like, somehow communicate effectively to Blackjack, who's then able to come to you. Like, there's a whole messaging
I don't know. It's
system.
just a little unnecessarily rude here.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're being rude to hippocampi. But the hippocampi are like, free it, Lord. Like, you know, they're doing that whole... Yeah.
Thing that they do. Fun little mini theory. Hippocampi, if we're following this, you know, Percy's description of them, they're kind of himbos. Because they're, like, beautiful, but, you know...
strong, but, like, yeah. Oh, that's kind
They're
of
the
cute.
himbos of the sea.
I'm trying to. I don't think I can make it work, but I want to say himbocampi. Like, make it, put it into the word. It's almost there. It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. There's something there. So first, Percy thinks that this is a young hippocampus because he has saved them before, and obviously the hippocampi would be like excited about, trying to get him to do that. But then Percy hears a sound that does not belong underwater, and he hears a big long moo. Which, to be honest, like, that would throw you, right? If you heard a moo underwater.
Oh, it would, like, scare me. I'd
happening?
be like, what is going on?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And like you said, we get to learn that this is a cow serpent, like an underwater cow serpent. And I'll read some of the little descriptions because we have interesting parallels in a way. So, Percy had heard of sea cows like manatees, but this was really a cow. Like, apparently this looks like a cow.
Yes.
With the back end of a serpent, the front half is a baby calf with black fur and big, sad brown eyes.
That's so cute.
That's so cute.
It's so stinking cute.
For my birthday last year, I got to cuddle baby Highland cows for the first time. And my favorite was this black with like brown accents cow. Aww. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, imagine like underwater though.
Oh.
So freaking cute. But also this reminds me of the description of Tyson's eye. So I just wanted to...
Oh, totally. Yes, because he is described as having like calf eyes.
Like a brown calf eye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this just reminded me a lot of Tyson's eyes.
Totally.
I just thought was really interesting. We have a white muzzle. So that's on the black fur, we have a white muzzle. And then our snaky tail on the back half is black and brown with fins running down the top and bottom like an enormous eel. So I'm thinking the scale of this creature is bigger than I have in my mind. Like, this is a pretty large creature.
Yeah, because it's...
Even though it's a baby cow, they're still pretty big.
Yeah, a calf can still be, you know...
Like bigger than a person.
Potentially, depending on the size
they can.
Of a person. Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, you know, if we're leaning on the smaller end, like, this really is like a baby calf. Maybe the front end is 2 feet, and then maybe the back end is like another 2 feet or so. Like, I feel like this could maybe be about, between like 4 to 5 feet from snout to tail.
Yeah. Which is still like a human height in total. Yeah. And possibly bigger. Mm-hmm. So this is a big creature, and also any animal with a tail just has so much power in that tail, particularly like an underwater eel type tail that we're being described. So whenever we get to the point where like we're thrashing about, I feel like that's like genuinely really intense. Like you could generate a lot of movement and force with this tail. So that's just something. And then Percy is kind of adorable and goes, "Whoa, little one, where did you come from?" Which I think is just, like, really sweet.
No, it is. It's very, very sweet. I wonder, I'm curious about, because we learned that, like, Percy can't understand this animal's thoughts. And I was like, oh, right, like, he can only understand horses. But to me, I'm like, shouldn't he be able to understand, like, it feels like all sea creatures.
Underwater creatures beyond horses, though, because he has had conversations with underwater creatures before, hasn't he?
That's what I was remembering, but it says in the book I only speak horse, so I don't know if this is something that gets changed, because I'm like, doesn't he communicate with, like, or no, maybe he doesn't.
I was trying to remember, like, not in the river, but I feel like when he's in LA at the ocean, he communicates or hears or knows the intentions of
maybe it's like he can get like a vibe, and it's not the same remember. Like actual, because I don't think he has the same mental dialogue where it's full complete sentences with other sea creatures.
That's just horses.
I think he can kind of like send energy and receive it and kind of like know, like get the vibe. Okay. And I don't know, it's interesting because I'm realizing what it made me want to do and I forgot to do was look up like where in Greek mythology do like all the sea creatures technically come from? Like in the way that horses are like a creation of Poseidon. It's like how, because in my brain, it feels like Percy should be able to have mental conversations with all the sea creatures.
Right.
But maybe they're not technically all, like, born of Poseidon.
They probably aren't all born of Poseidon because, like, I wonder even if there are some sea creatures that are born of Echidna or, like,
Sure.
there are plenty of other places where creatures come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, either way, whether Bessie's special or, you know, we have just not being able to understand any sea creatures, what we get in return to that sweet sentiment is, again, moo.
Yeah.
So we're just in Moo Land.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where we have, like, a really interesting interaction to me that is speaking to the bigger plot.
Yes.
Because then we hear, which I think is, like, so interesting and such an important hint, that the hippocampi don't know what this creature is.
Mm-hmm.
And given that we've been told that the hippocampi are basically, what do we call them? Like the search and rescue, or like the...
Yeah. They are.
They're like on top of it. Like, they know what's happening in the water everywhere. And they're like the EMTs, like they're like calling people to like calling Percy and like rescuing everybody, and they don't know what this creature is.
Yeah. They are the first
like,
responders of the ocean, and they don't know
they're
what
the
they're
first
responding
responders
to.
and they don't know what they're responding to, and that's like unusual. So that's a good hint. And then they say, many strange things are stirring.
Yes.
Which we've heard before when we talked to Tyson about, like, what Poseidon is dealing with.
Yes. What this made me really want to know is, has little baby Bessie been around, like, asleep somewhere, or in the great stirring of it all, like, reformed, like it, like I really, really want to know,
like, has Bessie been in Tartarus, or has Bessie been snoozing?
Right.
Yeah.
And is the great stirring,
I don't remember if we know
like,
that.
Yeah, I don't think we ever, like, find out fully, like, where Bessie was prior to this, but I'm like, I want to know so badly.
I know, some more backstory.
Yes.
Yeah. No, totally. So, okay. So then Percy's like, yeah, I know. I've heard. Things are stirring. I know. So then he does the natural thing, which is sort of like the easiest way that he could think to free this creature is that we need to cut through the netting. Right? But when he goes to do that, the cow serpent freaks out, starts struggling against the net, eyes full of terror. And keep in mind that, like, Riptide does glow in the dark. So, like, the cow would see it, like, see the sword, and it could look kind of intense and frightening. But here's where I start to wonder, like, has this creature been sacrificed before and knows what a blade is, and therefore has sort of PTSD from blades?
I think
that was my thought.
Yes. This really made me try to remember, because I know at the end of this book we will learn more about Bessie, and I'm even forgetting on, like, the full technical name for Bessie. It starts with an O, I think, but I'm blanking. That I can't remember if historically, if Bessie has been sacrificed before, or if they have simply tried to and been unsuccessful. But to me, this felt like Bessie was completely aware of the ramifications.
What a sword is.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because then she freaks out, and that's where we start to, like, thrash and, like, we not be okay with the sword. And Percy's like, listen, I'm not going to hurt you. Like, I'm trying to help you. Yeah. But he can't actually talk to Bessie directly, and so then we get this, like, communication issue. And here's where I just want to say, like, before we go into this, Percy is the most patient, persevering person ever in this chapter. It's amazing. Like, no, I'm really impressed with him.
Yeah, he really, like, taps into a side of himself that I feel like we haven't really seen in the previous books, like, up until now. His ability to, like, tell that what Bessie needed was just, like, calm and soothing, and we're gonna take this thing slow and steady, and he's, like, says kind of just, like, soothing things to her the whole time. Like, it's very sweet. It's a very like, nurturing,
it's so nurturing.
side.
He like goes right into that mode from the beginning. He stays in that mode the whole time. He never gets frustrated.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I just like, wow, this is like not the impulsive. Like, he doesn't try to trick Bessie so that he can like quickly slash or anything. He's just.
It feels like the Sally Jackson and Percy.
Absolutely, you're right. You're totally right. Okay, so he's channeling Sally Jackson energy here. I think you're totally right. That's very, very true. So in this moment, the issue with the thrashing is that we had that big tower of stuff that could fall on like all of them.
Yeah.
But particularly Bessie would be like stuck under it and would be crushed. And so Percy pretty quickly is like, okay, I can't, like, Bessie's not gonna, well, we haven't named the cow Bessie yet, but we're just using this name. We'll get there. I can't use the sword at all. But also, like, I need to figure out a way to make this not fall onto us, essentially. So that's kind of like where we're at, because also the hippocampi are like freaking out. Everybody's like freaking out.
Everyone's freaking out.
And that's when Percy continues to like channel Sally and he's like, we are calm, we are okay, we are collected. And he's like, he specifically said, it's cool, no sword, see? Calm thoughts, seagrass, mama cows, vegetarianism.
I know, I like that last one.
That makes me laugh every time. I love that.
I know. It's so good.
Funny. It's so funny, especially because like he just did his like underwater rant, and it just feels like Grover. Like it's like Sally plus Grover is what's
totally. Yeah.
Because Grover's also like really sad about any kind of animal that's trapped or whatever. So basically, like it seems like people are responding to the tone of Percy's voice, and then the hippocampi are still like free, my lord.
Yeah.
Which. It's like that makes me think of Shrek. There's like two references. There's also a Finding Nemo reference.
Yes.
Number.
Yes,
number
the
three,
guards to Farquaad. Yes, I hear the hippocampi in the
like that voice?
Farquaad's guards voice when they're like, number 2, my lord, pick number 2.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So okay, because then we're gonna get to. Did you think of Finding Nemo for the moment when we're all sort of pushing the?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, we're going to get there, but we're about to get there. Okay, so this is where Percy does a whole thing in his head where he's like, okay, I'm going to endow this cow female, so we're going to use she pronouns.
Yes.
But he just, like, think about it.
Yeah.
And then this is where he says, it was like she'd seen blades before and knew how dangerous they were. And I was like, I think that's true. Like, I think Bessie is aware of, like, the precariousness of, like, the whole world sort of outcome.
Yes.
Whether or not like she gets sacrificed. And then he's like to the hippocampi, he says, I need you to swim the way that I tell you. And this is where it's like in Finding Nemo when at the very end, because we've learned we're all in the net. This is like Dory and Marlin with the fish, and they have everybody swim down. And everybody swims down and down and down, and then they're able to get out of it. And I was like, this reminds me, I don't know, it's so cute. It reminds me of that.
No, that's so true.
Because they have, we specifically say, with the strength of 3 horsepower.
Love it.
Which I love. They shift the wreckage so it's no longer threatening to collapse on the baby cow serpent. Then they go to the net, untangling it section by section, getting lead weights and fishing hooks straightened out. And then Percy is like intricately untangling knots. Like he is going through like if you got something just totally tangled, like if you think of all your jewelry getting tangled, he says like it's like when his video game cords got tangled, and he's like untangling, but like on the scale of fishing boat sized equipment, not like so small as a video game.
Yeah.
This is where I'm like, this is so much patience. Like this is really impressive.
I think, cause there's another, well, like it's making me think of in the Son of Neptune when he like doesn't remember who he is, but he can like, you know, tie all the knots for like the tiny little essentially like raft that they're given, and it's so instinctual. Like it to me, it kind of feels like there is a little bit of instinctual.
You're right. You might have a stronger intuition
to just kind of be able to go. Like you got to untangle it, you know, like ropes are going to knot together, like that. So it's a little less, I think maybe laborious for him than it would be for like someone else.
No, that's a good point. He might have a stronger intuition for it. Yeah. So this is where he starts calling her Bessie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, don't ask me why I said Bessie. That just makes sense for a cow name. And I'm like, yeah. That's
most,
like kind of like a classic traditional.
Yeah.
He's like, good cow, nice cow. Like he's still being very Sally Jackson, very nurturing, very comforting the whole way. And then the net comes off and we do a happy little somersault. And then I also love, so the hippocampi are whinnying with joy. Thank you, Lord. And then the cow serpent moos and nuzzles Percy.
I know. It's very, very sweet. Yeah.
It's precious.
Yeah. So now that we've like made it through Bessie being free,
yes,
I am so curious. Like, so if Percy hadn't come and something had happened to Bessie, it wouldn't have counted as a sacrifice, I don't think, because there's no one intentionally doing it. But if Percy had like accidentally, like if this had gone south and Percy had unintentionally done something and this like didn't work, would that count as a sacrifice, or does there have to be intention?
So I think that's a good question. I think when we get to the end of this book, I'm going to be paying attention to wording.
Yeah.
Let's say worst case scenario, it does count if it's just by Percy's hand. I think that the biggest turning point in this interaction, this is my opinion, is the point where he puts the sword away. I think that if he had tried to do a different method, like distract or have the hippocampi hold Bessie down or whatever, and use the sword, I think that there's a really strong possibility that he would have accidentally like hurt or killed Bessie with the sword. And I think like that would be the end. Like that could be,
I agree.
That could count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the other thing that's interesting that I'm trying to figure out is like, okay, so my most paranoid conspiracy theory brain is like, could one of Kronos' minions have gotten Bessie trapped in this net as a test to see if like maybe Percy accidentally does hurt her, getting her out of there?
I just don't think that that's the most beneficial play for Kronos. Like if Kronos and his minions have Bessie in hand, I don't think
they would just keep her.
They would just keep her.
Yeah,
and set up an actual sacrifice.
I don't think it. Yeah. Okay. You're right. I think that's true. But yeah, I don't know for sure, but I think there's a risk here. I feel like it's risky that like it could have gone in that direction.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree, and I think it's really good that Percy had no clue and the hippocampi had no clue, because I do think like the tension and the stakes that would have, it makes me think of, because as we're recording, this World Cup is happening and there have been a number of penalty shootouts to decide games, the amount, the weight that gets put on doing a simple thing that all these professional soccer players like know how to do in their sleep. The stress of it is what gets in. It's all the mental stuff that can get in the way of actually like executing a penalty kick like effectively. I feel like this would have become like a penalty kick moment had Percy known the stakes that were at play. But because he doesn't know, he's able to be calm and grounded and be like, it's fine, we'll just do this slow.
We're going to do the right move.
Yeah.
I think similarly, like if he hadn't had them move all of the stuff out of the way from falling before he had tried to untangle, like he just has a very non-ADHD moment here that I think does him a lot of favors. Yeah. Like it's not very impulsive. It's intuitive, but it's not impulsive. And I think that is really helpful for him.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Thus, the entire world here. But I agree. It's like when you don't know the stakes, it's different. Yeah. So Percy, not knowing that this is like a super, super, super important creature, is just like, cool, we did it.
Right.
I've probably been gone a long time. What time is it? I don't know. That we're back to like ADHD brain, I feel like. He's like, I'm breaking curfew. So he goes, Blackjack is just waiting perfectly to pick him up, which I think is just so cool. Blackjack is just so cool.
Blackjack is the best.
Like everybody needs Blackjack. And then Blackjack is like, success, boss? And then and Percy says, we rescued a baby, something or other. Took forever, almost got stampeded. which I think is funny. And then Blackjack is like, well, good deeds are always dangerous. And Percy's like, well, yeah, tell me about that. But then he has this really sad moment where he's like, man, I can rescue this creature, but I can't rescue Annabeth. And, like, she's stuck with Luke and in trouble and danger. And that's just, like, I don't know. It's a really sad moment, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think it, like, leads into then, like, what's going to happen in the rest of the chapter. Well, like, I actually do think this is a good setup for Percy to,
I agree,
like, really, like, kind of firmly decide a decision he's already made. Like, he's kind of already made the decision, but I do think this, having this experience of, like, dang, I can save this creature, I extra, like, I have to do whatever I can to try to save Annabeth.
Even just the success in it, even just being like you have that confidence, like, I did it, I can do it, then it's like, then I need to go help my friend, and, like, I kind of know what's happening to her and where she is, like, I need to go do this. So we are flying on Blackjack, and we are headed, like, around the dining pavilion and stuff, and then we see Nico, and Nico is we're gonna find out more, but is sort of crouched behind a column and spying. And Percy, interestingly, is like, the last thing I wanted is for Nico to tell me more about mythomagic. And I was like, I don't think that's what's going to happen. But whatever. No. But basically, Percy can tell that something is wrong with Nico and, like, in a situation based on how he's crouching. And so he asks Blackjack to put him behind the column and see what Nico is up to. Yes.
And Percy, like, almost kind of blows it straight out the gate. Like, he only saw Nico. He didn't see, like, why Nico was crouching or anything. And so, and it kind of takes, it, in my opinion, it takes Percy, like, a little bit of, like, it's not, like, a crazy long amount of time, but
too long.
It is a hilariously long amount of time.
Yes.
Because I'm like, you were just having this whole thing about, like, I can't be caught out after curfew. It's like, if Nico's crouching, I'm like,
why would he be there? Like, Percy almost just sort of goes, hey, what's up? Like, no, literally, out loud.
Literally. and almost blows both of their covers.
It's wild.
But Percy does, like, you know, he has a moment of, like, there are hunters here. Nico is spying. And so he takes out Annabeth's cap and puts it on. And he, like...
So cool.
I know. And he doesn't make Nico aware of his presence at all. And Percy actually kind of, instead of focusing on Nico, focuses in on spying on the hunters as well.
Double spy.
And we have this really fun moment where, like, Percy reaches out his arm, and it means that we learn that when you're wearing Annabeth's cap of invisibility, you cannot see your own body, which feels very eerie, to, like, stick out your arm and not be able to see it. And
not see anything.
Yeah.
But also so cool, and it's always fun when, like, people with special weapons or gifts or magic or whatever, like, items, get to use each other's stuff.
Totally. Yes.
Like, it's always sort of just delightful.
I agree. Yeah. And so Percy sneaks around Nico, and he can't actually see the hunters, but he can tell based on the voices that it's Zoe and Bianca. And Zoe and Bianca are talking about the t-shirt prank that the Stoll brothers pulled on Phoebe. And we learned that the Stoll brothers had sprayed the inside of the shirt that they gifted to her with centaur blood, which is like acid, and it cannot be cured quickly enough for Phoebe.
How did they get centaur blood?
That is my question. That is my question.
That is wild.
I need to know how on earth they procured this. Like, it seems like it would be an exceptionally hard thing to come by. I don't know how they did.
Kind of also inconsiderate to Chiron.
No, I know. A
little bit. It feels like. I don't know.
Yeah. But Phoebe will be bedridden with hives for weeks. So she's out. She's fully out.
That is rough.
And Bianca is saying, like, okay, well, they have to pick another person to go with them. And in this whole interaction, that's kind of the stance that Bianca has for a while. And Zoe is very against that. She's like, we do not have the time for this. Plus, the prophecy said we'd lose one. Like, Zoe's kind of trying to make that work. And Bianca's like, the land without rain can't mean Camp Half-Blood, which I think is really, really interesting that she's the one who says that, given what happens in this book.
I know. Well, my question here, because Zoe isn't sure of herself when she's trying to make the case.
Yeah.
And Camp Half-Blood, like, there's not supposed to be rain there. Like, there is a magical protection against that.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of my question is, by Percy going on this quest, does that kill Bianca?
Oh, interesting.
Like, Zoe does say she has a feeling they shouldn't pick someone else, but that could mean, like, this is the land without rain, and that, like, though I don't know that we would call Phoebe lost.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Phoebe lost. I also think, in my opinion, I don't think Camp Half-Blood qualifies as the land without rain. They just control the weather that they have.
Right. Okay.
They're just able, like, they do allow, like, when things need to be watered. Like, it's just that they're kind of in, like, this, like, magically temperature-controlled dome where they can let it be snowy when they want it to be snowy and let it, like, because there's, like, ice. It
literally has been snowy.
Yes.
Which is water.
So and Zoe, like, doesn't really believe it when she's saying it. I think Zoe just really does not want to pick anyone else. And she does say that, like, she has a bad feeling that if they picked someone else, they would meet a fate worse than Phoebe. Yeah. Plus, she doesn't want Chiron choosing a camper. I think, and she doesn't want to risk another hunter. Like, I think all of this really comes down to Zoe has been itching to go since the moment she had the dream. Yep. She's been, like, held back because the prophecy requires some amount of, like, official channels, through Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is more so Zoe just being like, nothing else can get in our way of departing. Like, we have to leave as soon as the break of dawn. I think she's just, like, desperate to help Artemis. And yeah, that's really kind of what's happening. I don't think that Percy... I don't know. That's a good question. Like, does Percy... It was already in the prophecy, but, like...
Well, and on the other side, was Percy always meant to be on the quest? I think, you can slice it in each direction. Yeah. And, like, I'm not sure if I feel strongly either way. Like,
right.
Does him going solidify that Bianca's the one that's going to die?
Mm-hmm.
Or was, like, Phoebe getting poisoned because Percy was always meant to be on this quest?
Right. Yeah. I think it has felt to me always when I've read these books more so like Phoebe getting poisoned was so that Percy, who was meant to go on the quest, could
For sure.
go
I
and,
just
like,
think
slot
prophecies
in.
are interesting to interpret.
No, they are.
Percy does not end up being one of the people mentioned in the prophecy.
I know.
That's
so
really
that is
just
interesting.
Zoe and Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even Talia.
No. So yeah, no, I agree. It is interesting, and I do think there is a potential for ramifications of
because the creature is like Bessie's mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's kind of interesting because that really is about Talia at the end of the day.
Right. Yes, it is.
With her being about to be 16.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like you can go either way on Percy. So I think it's like interesting because obviously as the main character, like, we want him to be on the quest. We want to believe that he should be on the quest.
Mm-hmm.
But like last book, like, is that true?
Yeah.
And there was allusions to Percy and Annabeth and Tyson helping Clarice in Sea of Monsters, like in her own prophecy.
Right.
And she went without the right number of people, and then that was like she needed help. But I don't know. It just feels a little more murky here. So I'm just interested in, like, the meaning of prophecies.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. I agree. And after Zoe says this thing about having this bad feeling and not wanting to risk any other hunter or anything like that, Bianca's kind of silent for a moment. And then, interestingly enough, she tells Zoe that she thinks that Zoe needs to tell Talia the rest of the dream that she had. Yeah. The other thing that I think is so interesting about all of this is, like, Bianca is so new to the hunters, but this whole interaction reads to me like it is so clear how immediately she, like, fell into them and just, like, slots in and has, like, found her place, because and this just might be like my own issues, but like I could not, if I'm like, 3 days in to a new organization, I'm not telling like the main person, you really need to tell about this street, I'm not like, I might share an opinion or two, but I'm not gonna be like, hey, you really need to like tell this other person who I also just met 3 days ago, like
right.
It feels like it speaks to how much she immediately has that sense of belonging, which then comes with like trust and a feeling of security that she can then voice all of her opinions and like not be worried about,
I feel
anything.
like you can read it that way. I feel like you can almost also read it the opposite way, which is that she's so new that she hasn't really been embedded in the cult long enough to obey without question. Yeah. And that she's so used to being the one in charge of protecting people that instinct is so strong in her she can't help but like argue what she thinks is right.
Interesting. Yeah. I also wonder if it's maybe a combination of the two, because I'm thinking back to the ways in which we were talking about how like Artemis has positive ways in which she's different from the gods, and she doesn't seem to buy into, to the same extent that the rest of the gods do, all of the intense hierarchical stuff. Yes, like absolutely. You can't tell her tent any different from any of the other ones, at least like externally, and and I think it's very clear how much respect she has for Zoe, and I think it's rare to see a god like have respect for a mortal truly. So I wonder if it's maybe a combination of the two, that there's that inherent stuff to Bianca, and then also she is now in an organization that maybe doesn't have as intense hierarchical stuff as other,
I think that makes sense. It's probably both.
Yeah. And Zoe's response to being told that by Bianca is Zoe's like, it won't help. And Bianca, again, she's insisting. She's like, but if your suspicions about who the general is are correct, and Zoe cuts her off and says that she has Bianca's word that she will not talk about it. So we're getting indications this is very serious. This is very intense in terms of the pieces of Zoe's dream that she chose not to share with everyone else. Yeah.
And what we know from Grover, if this is the same dream, is that Zoe had a dream about Artemis being in trouble.
Yes. Yep. And Zoe says that they will find out soon enough, and that they need to leave because dawn is breaking. And it's funny, Nico gets out of, like, so they start to like leave the pavilion, and Nico gets out of the way quickly enough, but Percy's like not locked in. I guess he's like forgetting that he's because Zoe like almost runs into Percy because he's not like aware of like he's got to get out of the way. And she freezes, and like her hand goes to her bow, which I love that because like, she's been a hunter for so long. She'd have incredible senses. Like she can tell that there is someone there, even though he's invisible. But before Zoe really does anything, Bianca says that the lights in the big house are on now. And so they hurry out of the pavilion. And after they leave, Percy can immediately tell what Nico is thinking, which is essentially that he has to go after Bianca, and he's going to find a way to tag along on this quest. And so Percy takes off his cap to reveal himself and his presence to Nico. And I do love just like how cool Nico finds invisibility. Like I love that we have that moment where he's like, "Whoa, that's so cool! I mean, that's crazy."
I would too. That's so cool.
Oh, totally. Yes. And when Percy's kind of like, how did you even know that they were here? Nico confesses that he doesn't sleep well at camp, which I think is really interesting. Like, because he won't ever really, like, even once we get the Hades cabin, like, he does not gel with camp. And the fact that it's been there from the beginning, I just think is really interesting.
Yeah, agreed.
And because he doesn't sleep well, he heard Zoe and Bianca when they walked past the Hermes cabin whispering, and so he followed them. Yeah. And Percy just kind of says the quiet part out loud, addressing that like Nico clearly wants to follow them on the quest, but Percy says that Nico can't. And Nico is like very defiant about this, but Percy explains that Nico is going to get caught and sent back to camp, and that yes, Nico is too young to be doing this. A reminder, he's like supposed to be 10, so like 2 years younger than Percy was.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's really young.
And Percy reminds Nico of Dr. Thorne and that there will be more like Dr. Thorne out there and worse that will be awaiting them. And he reminds Nico that some of the heroes will die. And I had a moment where I was like, wait, wouldn't that be new information to Nico? But then I remembered, even though Nico wasn't at the meeting, the prophecy was heard by everybody post Capture the Flag.
Yep.
So Nico would have heard that.
Yep.
And all of that does actually sink in for Nico, and he accepts what Percy is saying, but then surprises Percy by going, hey, you can go for me. And Percy's what? It's like, this is not the turn of events that I was going for. And Percy's arguing back, saying like why he can't, but Nico is very insistent. He says that with the cap, Percy won't be caught, and that Percy has to go and keep an eye on Bianca.
Yeah. I love how quickly he puts his argument together, like he should have been a lawyer or something, because like immediately he's just learned about this invisibility cap, and immediately he's just like, well, you've got this cap, and I know you want to go anyway, and you've been on quest before, and so you should just, it's all there for you right in front of you.
Yep, exactly. And when Nico says that piece about like that he can tell that Percy was planning on going anyways, we get this interesting moment where Percy wants to lie, but when he meets Nico's eyes, he can't lie to him. So interesting, again, just tracking their interactions and dynamic. Percy's perspective and point of view, what Nico is experiencing given what we know in the long term about it all. And Percy admits and says that yes, he was kind of planning on going anyways, that he has to find Annabeth and help even if they don't want him to. And Nico promises that he won't tell on Percy for leaving, but that Percy has to promise to keep his sister safe. And Percy's like, that is a big thing to promise.
Yes.
Nico insists on it, and Percy says that he will promise to do his best. And I think this is so well intentioned, and I get it, and is not the thing that is going to land in a 10-year-old's mind in the way that Percy means it. Like saying, I'll promise to do my best is not going to land as with the like asterisks of, hey, and that means that I cannot promise to keep your sister safe given that the prophecy said that people will die, but I will promise to do my best, which means absolutely zero guarantees as to the results of this quest. Like that whole asterisk is not being communicated to Nico.
There is no fine print. And it's not what he's saying is not the same as a promise on the River Styx. It's not the same as when Annabeth promised to like look after Percy to Chiron, which by the way is still true and insane. That still holds. And unlike Grover and Percy, they never have a conversation about like whether that should still be a thing.
Right.
I don't know how you get out of a promise of River Styx, but like
I don't think you do.
That's so problematic. But anyway, I do think that I agree that Percy is well intentioned in promising like something he actually can do, which is to try his best.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I also agree that for a 10-year-old, it was a little bit too affirming of a promise to where he hears it as, I promise that I'll keep her safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a bummer and definitely going to come back to bite Percy hard.
I know. And, I can't really fault either of them because I think Percy is communicating the best that he can in this moment. And Nico is being a 10-year-old, worried about his older sister he's already, feeling disconnected from with the hunters of it all, and then now they're going to be physically separated for like the first time since they were both siblings on this earth. That's really hard.
So intense on a quest where people are supposed to die. And I also think that it makes so much sense in a similar way, like you said last time, that Annabeth looks up to Luke. I think that Percy is older enough and has enough more experience and has done enough cool things in front of Nico that Nico's going to be like, well, if I've got Percy helping her, she's, that's all I need. Like, he's going to be successful because he's this, like, powerful hero demigod.
Yep. And after promising to do his best, Percy realizes that he doesn't have anything packed. He just has the cap, his sword, and the clothes he's wearing. And he was supposed to be going home to Manhattan this morning. And he starts to tell Nico to tell Chiron something, but Nico interrupts and he's like, I'll make something up. I'm good at that. I got this.
Did you notice the wording here? Nico says, I'll make something up. Nico smiled crookedly. Did we remember that in The Lightning Thief,
The
Hades is
crooked one.
referred to as the crooked one?
Yes. The little
I was like,
hints,
oh my
the
gosh,
little
if we
hints.
haven't clocked it at this point,
Yeah.
that's like almost, I didn't remember this was here. This is so overt, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm super into it.
And so on that, Percy puts on the invisibility cap, is running to Half-Blood Hill, and he reaches the top just in time to see the camp's van disappearing down the farm road. And he has this moment where he feels kind of silly, realizing that he hadn't thought through like how to keep up with them, when he hears the beating of wings and the icon Blackjack lands next to him and says, he's like, needed a getaway horse. And Percy has this lump of gratitude that forms in his throat, which I think is so sweet. And he's like, yeah, let's fly. And the chapter ends.
Aww. And it's like so fun again to have like yet another flying loophole for Percy. We get actually 2 in this book so far. You can fly as a son of Poseidon if you are in the sun chariot with the god Apollo.
Right.
And you can also fly if you are on a winged horse named Blackjack.
Yep. One of the things that I really love about this chapter is that like it's a shorter one that feels like really simple, and upon first time read through doesn't seem like a deeply impactful chapter. Like it's kind of like, oh, Percy does a little rescue mission, a little spying, oh, and then we leave. And it's actually like one of the most consequential chapters.
Absolutely. Like both halves of this chapter each hold like the most important things in the book inside of them. It is wild.
Yes. Yeah. It is like setting up and foreshadowing to the biggest things that will happen. In this book. It's really wild. And yeah, so any final thoughts from you?
I think I'm excited to like keep meeting Bessie.
Totally.
And like she'll keep showing up for Talia and Percy, and also for Grover to finally be able to start communicating with Bessie.
Yes.
So that's very exciting. Because we should probably review who is in the van with Argus real quick. So we have Zoe, Bianca, Talia, and Grover.
Yep.
And then we have Percy as our 5th, following behind on Blackjack for now.
Yeah.
So I'm getting excited for Bessie to pop up again. I have anxiety around Nico and Percy stuff.
I know. It's so, like, it's knowing how it ends.
Yeah.
There's this, like, heartbreaking quality to all of it. It's reminding me of Olivia Rodrigo's You Look So Happy for a Girl So in Love album came out recently, and it tracks a relationship chronologically from its beginning to its end completely.
Okay.
And we knew that before it was released, and so it's like listening to the like happy so in love songs being like, but it's gonna end, but it's gonna like there's this like inherent kind of melancholy to all of them in knowing that like, but we're not gonna make it,
it's a little stressful, man. It brings up some some feels. So I'm feeling into that. I am also excited for the National Science Museum, because I love that museum like in real life, and I'm excited to explore it in these fun ways.
You know what I just realized?
What did you just realize?
That Bianca leaves without saying goodbye to Nico. Because Percy is with Nico, and the van is disappearing.
She could have said goodbye to him earlier, before bed.
Maybe before bed. But not before leaving in the morning.
No, not before leaving in the morning, but she had to have said goodbye to him the night before.
I hope so. I just feel like it's so, what happens to her is such a shock, you
Sure.
know, that like,
In
but
my
anyways,
headcanon, she says good night and goodbye to him. But
yeah, I hope so too. But it does hurt my heart a little bit that it's not a morning
Yeah.
of.
I mean, it's like dawn. It's early, so.
No,
but
I
yes.
know, but
I agree.
like, that's, because
I agree.
I just realized we don't, whatever that final moment was, we
Yeah,
don't know
we
what
don't
that
see
was.
it.
We don't
Yes.
know what the last thing was, you know, the last conversation
That
that
is
they
really hard,
had.
that we don't see it. Yeah. We will see the last conversation that they will have.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it is. It would be nice to know what they said.
Mm-hmm.
In my
Mhm.
mind, she does, but maybe that's just wishful thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Between the council meeting, basically, and
Yeah.
the morning.
Yeah. Also, it is fascinating that only the campers will survive the quest.
Yeah.
Like, because we already got a hunter knocked out.
Yep.
Only
No,
the
I
campers
know.
survive.
That is really interesting because they're all supposed to go together.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that, like, though one becomes a hunter,
Yes.
so you could see that as like a hunter survives in the sense, and a camper is lost in the sense of like one switches to
Sure.
the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of feels like basically we've sent characters that are too important to be able to die from the campsite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
They have plot armor, and we kind of have to.
Yes.
The hunters are the most vulnerable ones, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, you know, we're gonna. Nico's arc is like possibly the most compelling arc in this whole series. So like,
I completely agree.
oftentimes tragedy creates a compelling narrative, obviously,
Mhm,
but it's
mhm.
just like, it's hard and sad and heartbreaking.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
And then my last thing is just that, like, I'm so excited we're on the quest.
I know.
Just,
We've
I'm
made
ready.
it.
I've been ready to quest. I mean, we're on page 120. We're on chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are, like, you know, at least a third through the book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's about time, people.
Mhm,
Let's get on a
mhm.
quest.
Yes, we are.
We've got to get across the whole country again.
I know.
So, what about you?
I think I wound up accidentally kind of sharing my last thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I'm also thinking about like the last time Nico seeing Bianca, he's like crouching and hiding and he can't really fully see her, kind of hear, feels like kind of emblematic of this kind of permanent shift in their dynamic, and then like he will like always be trying, she will always be like out of reach for him.
True. That's a
you
good
know,
point.
after this moment. And so
she's also like saying what she like, advocating for something that she thinks should happen, and Zoe's saying no. So like there's many layers of how Nico could feel that like Bianca was done a disservice by all the other people around her.
Yes. Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
because I would replay that in my head probably.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be a rough chapter when we get there. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's like usually it's kind of, this book does mirror The Lightning Thief in a lot of ways, I feel like, where we have a last chapter that reveals sort of this darker, you know, troubled situation. And we're going all the way across the country.
Right.
You know, we're crashing a car into our Camp Half-Blood arrival. Like, there's some things, some parallels.
Yeah.
So, but we will actually start our quest for real next time when we read The Titan's Curse, Chapter 9, I Learn How to Grow Zombies. Remember, everyone, that through August 31st, our Percy-Verse podcast t-shirts are 50% off. That's $15 plus shipping. You can go to Percy-Verse.com to order your shirt in orange with black text or black with gold text today in sizes 5X through extra small. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.